This is a special meeting requisitioned by the following members: Councillor Murtagh, Councillor Hannah, Councillor Patterson, Councillor Kelly, Councillor Ritchie, Councillor McCabe, Councillor Spears and Councillor Brown. The agenda was issued 15th of April 2024 and hard copies were available to members at the Foundry last Monday, 15th of April. The meeting is being live streamed and recorded. A video recording will be posted online shortly after the meeting on the Council's YouTube channel. I take this opportunity to remind members that all members should be heard without interruption. And if everyone can ensure their camera is kept on during the proceedings. Mr. Moody will now take the header.
Yes, thank you, Provost. Provost Bisson.
Present.
Deputy Provost Balfour.
Present.
Councillor Aitchison.
Yeah.
Councillor Anslow.
Present.
Councillor Binney.
Present.
Councillor Bowes.
Present.
Councillor Brown.
Present.
Bailey Buchanan.
Present.
Councillor Bundy.
Present.
Councillor Colley.
Present.
Councillor Deacon.
Present.
Councillor Devine.
Present.
Councillor Flynn.
Present.
Councillor Forrest.
Do not use the lift.
Councillor Forrest. I think you're muted, Councillor Forrest.
This is an
I can see that Councillor Forrest is present on the screen. Councillor Garner.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I am present. I did say present, but obviously you couldn't hear for the noise in the background. My apologies.
Thank you, Councillor Forrest. Councillor Hannah.
Present.
Councillor Kelly.
Present.
Apologies have been submitted by Bailey Kerr. Councillor McCabe.
Yeah.
Councillor Meiklejohn.
Present.
Councillor Murtagh.
And short.
Councillor Nimmo.
Present.
Councillor Patterson.
Present.
Councillor Patrick.
Present.
Councillor Redmond.
Present.
Councillor Ritchie.
Present.
Apologies have been submitted by Councillor Robertson. Councillor Sinclair.
Yeah.
Councillor Spears.
Present.
And Councillor Steinbeck.
Present.
Thank you. Next item of business is agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Members should declare any financial and non-financial interest they have in any item of business, identifying the relevant agenda item. So, does anyone have any declarations of interest? No. Agenda item 3, motion. The motion has been requisitioned to consider a motion which is set out in your agenda papers. The preamble to the motion itself recognised that this motion might be...
Attention, please. This is a staff and public announcement.
The preamble to the motion itself recognised that this motion might engage the 6-month rule. And if it does, then a vote will be required in which 2/3 of those voting and present would need to vote for the motion to be heard. Having taken advice from the Chief Governance Officer, I'm of the view that the terms of the motion does engage the 6-month rule, Standing Order 35, that there is no material change in circumstances since the decision was made. Therefore, the matter can only be discussed if 2/3 of members present agree. There will be no discussion on the ruling that the motion engages the 6-month rule. And so at this point, we have to go to the vote.
Provost, I'd like to have a point of order in terms of the explanation of decision, because I'd just like to introduce some information in relation to that, given Mr Moody's advice. And to do so, I'd like to quote from the Equality and Human Rights Commission technical guidance on the public sector equality duty for Scotland. And in its section on when does the general duty apply, equality duty apply, it says that the duty must be complied with when a body subject to it is exercising a function. And it goes on to say that the courts have said that there is no scope for depriving function of much of its ordinary meaning. For example, in relation to a local council, the court said that the words function embraces all the duties and powers of a local authority, the sum totals of the activity Parliament has entrusted to it. And I don't think that it can be argued that deciding a budget motion is not a function of council. And as such, when a motion seeking permission and giving instruction to go to consultation, as it was during the budget meeting, adequate information should have been provided which enabled exercise of the general equality duty. So given that the EPIA provided was totally inaccurate and did not actually match the proposal, which was so very briefly bullet pointed on 2 pages of a 260-page report, I would like to make the argument that we did not in fact make a valid decision at the time because it could not have been said to have taken account of our obligations under public sector equality duty. And this was because the asymmetric week wasn't part of the 24-25 budgets per se, because which is why, given all the things that were, it did not actually figure in any of the presentations or the debate. So it's simply too important a proposal to have been buried like this. And I agree with the dozens of parent councils and individual parents getting in touch with us to ask us that it is properly debated in full before we go out to consultation, so they'll actually get a chance to ask the right questions that go out to consultation. I would ask that you reconsider that given that we did not make a valid decision in view of public sector equality duty, this is not in fact subject to the 6-month rule and should be debated today.
Mr. Moody?
Yes, thank you, Provost. And obviously, I don't disagree with the advice which is given by the Falkirk and Human Rights Commission and their technical guidance. The point I would make, however, though, is that the council at its budget meeting wasn't making a decision to commence the consultation. What the report submitted by officers to the council said was to convey the information that such a consultation would be taking place during the course of the coming financial year. So there was nothing in the sense of the decision that was being made at the council meeting which would have required to be supported by an EPIA in the sense that Councillor Murtagh is describing. I think all that the council decision said was to ask for some information about the implications of the letter from the Cabinet Secretary for Education in relation to certain financial and funding implications of the decision, and merely to note that that shouldn't delay the consultation, which had already been noted as the report as already taking place. And beyond that, I don't think that alters the position that there was an opportunity for the council to say in supporting Councillor Murtagh's amendment that the matter should go to the Education, Children and Young People's Executive prior to going to consultation. That wasn't agreed. That's why there is a decision which has been taken which engages the 6-month rule. There's no material change in circumstances and no legal requirement that the matter come before the council again. And that's why I think we're here to consider whether 2/3 of members present agree that the matter should be considered at today's meeting. So I think, Provost, that would be the reason for going to the vote.
Okay, so having heard that, nothing's, my mind's not changed at all, so we'll just now go to the vote. Thank you. And how many? It's
Provost, is it on a point of order?
What's your point of order, Councillor McKay?
Thank you, Provost. We've just heard from Councillor Murtagh quoting why we appear not to have followed kind of European convention, and I can't remember the specific details of it, but she's made a very good case. She's made a very good case.
Councillor McKay, could I just say, having heard Mr. Moody, I've made that decision, so we're moving on. I'm not going to hear any more about it. So. The
point of order then, Provost,
that's it.
The point of order, Provost, is that Mr. Moody said that no decision was made by the council, and then changes halfway through it and says a decision was made by the council. I'm looking for clarification from Mr. Moody. Was a decision made at the council or was it not? That's the point of order, Provost. Thank you.
Mr. Moody.
My apologies, Provost, if I wasn't clear on that point. The point I was making is that no decision was made to start the consultation. The council was informed that the consultation would be taking place in the report. The council made a decision not to support the proposition that the matter should come before the Education, Children and Young People's Executive prior to any consultation taking place. That's the decision which engages the 6 months rule. The point I was making on no decision was a decision which Councillor Murtagh was referring to in relation to her point in relation to the Equality and Poverty Impact Assessment.
Okay, we'll go to now go to the vote.
Provost, I'm not going to disagree. I understand the standing orders and I'm not going to disagree, but on a point of information, I would say it did say within the report, the officer's report, it said, we are seeking permission to go to consultation. That was within the text that was there. And the administration's motion said that there should be no delay to it. So the decision was that we would proceed and there'd be no delay to a consultation in which officers in the report were seeking permission. I don't disagree, as Mr. Moody said on the day, that they did not have to seek permission, but the facts of the matter are that in that report they did. And that's the information I would provide. And I understand you have made your decision, but that I think it deserves to be heard by the public. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Councillor Murtagh. So there's 28 members present, so it needs to be 2/3 of those present and voting. So how many?
Provost, I think the arithmetical figure would be 18.66. We can't get 6.66 per person, so 19 people, 19 members required to vote in favour of allowing the motion to proceed.
Okay.
So the vote, Provost, is for or against allowing the matter to be heard. So if it's for, it's to allow us to proceed, consider the substance of the motion on the agenda. Against is not to allow that and to allow the 6 months rule to continue to apply to the earlier decision. Provost Bissett.
For.
Deputy Provost Balfour.
Against.
Councillor Aitchison.
For.
Councillor Anslow.
For.
Councillor Binney.
Against.
Councillor Bowes.
Against.
Councillor Brown.
For.
Bailey Buchanan.
For.
Councillor Bundy.
For.
Councillor Colley.
Against.
Councillor Deacon.
Against.
Councillor Devine.
Against.
Councillor Flynn.
For.
Councillor Forrest.
Against.
Councillor Garner.
Against.
Councillor Hannah.
For.
Councillor Kelly.
For.
Councillor McCabe.
Or
Councillor Meiklejohn.
Against.
Councillor Murtagh.
For.
Councillor Nimmo.
For.
Councillor Patterson.
For.
Councillor Patrick.
For.
Councillor Redmond.
For.
Councillor Ritchie.
For.
Councillor Sinclair.
Against.
Councillor Spears.
For.
And Councillor Steinbank.
For.
Provost, there were 18 votes for, there were 10 votes against. The threshold of 19 is not met, and accordingly the motion cannot be considered.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks everybody for your time. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Provost.
Thanks, Provost.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a recent thing.